Hello everyone, this is Manoj. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we will create a complete project based on React.js, ASP.NET Core, SQL Server, and the project name is Social Network. If you can see on the screen, so it will be a college social network project where users can register and log in into the system, and that will be that will go for an approval to the admin. Once admin will approve, then they can log in. And once the student will log in or users will log in, then they can write a post using the text, title, and they can also upload images. Now we will also have a news feed that the news will be added by the staff. So whatever news they will add. So on a page, whatever news we have in the database, so we will publish that and you students or users can view that. After that, that again similarly to the registration process, this post will also go for an approval to the admin. Once admin will approve, then only that post will be published on the article page. And admin will have all the authorities, like she can check how many users are there, how many posts are there, how many articles are there. If he or she want, they can disapprove or approve any post or any registration at any time. Also, admin can create staff employees, so staff can view the user profile. Also, they can post some events, whatever event is happening nearby them or in the college or school. So this is the overall project idea. So we will try to complete this entire project through React.js, ASP.NET Core, and SQL Server. All right. So before starting the actual implementation of front-end and back-end projects, let me give a quick overview of the end result. So this will be our actual end result. So this is the login page, and from here we'll do the registration. And once you do the registration, then you'll come to this login, and let me log in with any user. So once you log in, you'll come to your user dashboard, and from here you can add a new article. You see, I have already created some articles, and from here you will create your news, and your news will come over here. And let me log out, and now let me log in with admin. So now it will go to admin dashboard. You see, in admin dashboard we have registration management, article management. If I click on registration, so far we have two users. One is this, second one is this, and both are approved from admin panel. And similarly we have two articles, so whatever article that user will post, they will come here for the approval and admin will approve it. Same, admin can create news from here. Also, admin can create a new staff. So let me log out. Now let's log in with staff. So staff will check the user information only. So in the staff login, we have a registration. So here staff can see all users whoever registered so far in the system. So we have three kind of logins. One is admin, one is user, and another one staff. So this is login page and this is the registration page. So this project we will try to achieve by our application. All right. So let me close this. So far I have created a new React.js project. If you see here, so this is the new React.js project, and I also created a .NET Core Web API project. If you see here, this is the default file and folder structure. And now let's go to SQL Server. So I have created a new database called Social Network. All right. Now let's open the requirements. So we'll start from the database. So first we need to create some tables which will hold the record, or you can say the details of these modules. All right. So the first one is registration. So let's quickly create a new table. So create table registration, In this table, we will have a ID column, and let's make it auto increment one by one. Also make it primary key and name varchar. Let's copy this. Email, password, phone number is active, and finally is approved. So in the registration table, we will have auto incremented ID column, name, email, password, phone number is active, is approved. Is active means if there is a record with is active value 1, that means that is an active record. And if the is active value is 0, then it means that record is not active and the student or user will not able to log in. Is approved means that is for admin purpose. Alright. If is approved 0, then still student or user cannot log in. When it is approved and the value is 1, then user or student can log in. Alright. So let's select and execute this command first. So our registration table is ready. Now paste it again. So now once user logged in, he or she can write post. Alright. So now we need to create a table called article. So article, in the article we will have ID and title, after that content, and after that we also need email of user who created or who is creating that post or article, and after that image, and is active, is approved. Alright, is active again, 01 for the active or deactive record, is approved for admin purpose. So select this, execute. Alright, now in the requirements, user can upload, okay, users can view news feed. Okay, let's create a new table, news, and title, content, email. From news, let's remove the image and also remove this is approved. Let's here created on date time. So our news table is ready. And finally, we also have registration. This is admin login. Okay. Staff can view and also post event. So let's create one more table. Events. So events, ID, title, content, email is active, created on. Alright. So let's execute this. So now we have created all the necessary tables, whatever required. Now select start from registration, article, news, and events. Alright, so our tables are ready. Now go to Visual Studio. Now we'll try to create the APIs. First of all, let's add a new folder, add new folder, and name it models. And inside this first model we will create as registration. So right click, add class, name it registration. Inside this we need some properties. So first property would be ID, and another property is of string type, that is name. Let's copy this. Another one is for email, password, phone number is active and is approved. Int, int. Save. Similarly, right click, class, article. Let's copy some properties from here and we will change the property names. So ID is there, title, content, email, image is active, is approved. All right. Same for news. Right click, add new class, news, copy article properties and paste. So ID, title, content, email is active, created on. We don't have image is active and created on. Okay, we don't need this created on. All right. Save this article also. Last model for the database events. Let's copy all the properties of news because all the properties are same as news. So ID, title, content, email is active. Okay, save. Let's add one more class for response. We need to pass some response to the front end, to the React.js project. So here, first property should be status code. Let's copy, paste, and another one is for status message, and we also need list of registrations. Give it a name, list registration. We will also need list of articles. So copy, change the object. Let's copy, paste, list of news, list of events, save, and we also need one more registration class. So registration. So we are done with our response class. Now right click on the controller part, add controller, API controller, add. First we'll create registration controller, registration, add. All right. Now the first thing is we need to create a object of iConfiguration class. So private read only iConfiguration control dot. So we need this namespace and object configuration. And now we need to create the constructor of this controller. So CTOR, then hit tab, copy, paste, change the object, and here underscore configuration is equal to configuration. Save. Now we also need to include one more namespace, SQL client. So first let's create a API method. So HTTP post, that is for registration. Let's also create a route, and the route is registration. Public response control dot, we need this namespace social network dot models, because this response class is in models folder. Public response registration, and that will take registration class as parameter. So registration. Now response is equal to new response, and finally return response. Save. So now let's create a SQL connection object. For that we need a namespace using system.data.sql client. So connection is equal to new SQL connection. I configuration dot get connection string dot toString. So here we need to give our connection string name. Perfect. Save. Let's also create a new class called del. So here also we need to use some namespaces. So using system.data and one more system.data.sql client. Now public int. Now let's create a response class. So public response registration, and that will take registration class as parameter. Also SQL connection response is equal to new response and return response. So now SQL command cmd is equal to new SQL command. Here we need to give a query. So insert into registration. So here we need to give the properties. So name, email, password, phone number, is active and is approved. Values, registration dot name, let's copy this, and another one is for email. So registration dot email, another one is for password, phone number, and by default is active mark 1 and is approved 0. All right. So and finally the connection object. So our command is ready. Now connection dot open int I is equal to cmd dot execute non-query. So this command will execute our command at SQL end. And after that, connection dot close, and if I greater than 0, it means if this record gets inserted, then we need to return a response as status code 200 response dot response, sorry, status message is equal to registration successful, and yeah, that's it. And copy, and if the record is not there in the database, means if there is any error, so in that case we will return the status code as 100, and registration failed. Save. Go back to registration controller. Now create object of this dial class. So int I, sorry, response is equal to dial dot registration, and here we will need to pass two parameters. First is registration, second one is SQL connection. Done. And finally we will return response. So our registration API is ready. Save. Again go to dial. Now let's create another method for login. So this will also take registration class, because we will pass, if you see the registration class, we will pass this email and password from the front end, from the React project. All right. So here also this SQL connection. So now SQL data adapter DA is equal to new data adapter. Select star from registration table, where email is equal to registration dot email, and password is equal to registration dot password. And finally the connection object. So adapter is ready. Again data table dt is equal to new data table, da dot fill dt. So let's also create a response class object is equal to new response. If dt dot rows dot count greater than 0, means if we have any record which matches with this email and password, then we will return response as response dot status code is equal to 200, and response dot status message is equal to login successful. And we also need to create a registration object, because we will pass all the user details to the front end. So registration equal new registration. Let's create this inside this block, and registration dot id is equal to dt dot rows 0, because we will also, we'll always have a single record. we cannot have duplicate or multiple records for a single email. All right. So ID, we need to create it. So convert dot 2 and 32 because this ID is having data type is integer. All right. So registration dot name is equal to convert dot to string and dt dot rows 0 and the column name which is name. Let's copy this and let's also return email. Let's copy, paste, and finally response dot registration is equal to registration. So if we have any record which match with these email and password, then the response will be 200 login successful and the data of this particular user who is trying to log in. All right. In the else part, let's copy these two lines, copy, paste, and also this registration. So in the else part, if there is any error, so then it means login failed and we will pass registration class as null. So save and finally return response. Save. So our login API is ready. Perfect. Go to registration. Now let's create a login API. So HTTP post and let's create a route login and public response login registration. Let's create, okay, let's copy everything from this registration, paste, and instead of this registration let's pass login. All right, so save. So our login API is also ready. Go to the requirements. So we are done with registration and login. Now we need to create an API for the approval. All right, so here in the dial, let's create public response user approval. All right, so here we will have a user ID. If you see registration, so this ID we will pass from the front end whenever admin will try to approve any user. All right, so here response is equal to new response and return response. So SQL command cmd is equal to new SQL command, and now we need to update this table. If you see the registration table, once we have data, so based on this ID we will update this is approved. All right, so update registration set this value is approved, okay, is equal to 1 where ID is equal to which we will pass from the front end. Registration dot ID comma connection and is active equal 1. So that user should be active. Only then that will get approved, otherwise not. So our command is ready. Now connection dot open int I is equal to cmd dot execute non-query, connection dot close, save, and now if I greater than 0 means the record gets updated, then we need to return a response. So response dot status code is equal to 200, and response dot status message is equal to user approved. Save. Sims copy the response, and in the else part, let's say if we get any error or by any case this record will not get approved, then in that case we will return status as 100, user approval failed. Save. So go to registration. Now we need to create an API. So that will again for HTTP post, not patch, post route, and user approval, that is the route. Now public response, let's copy the same name, and registration, registration, and in the body let's create a response class, return response. Save. So here first let's create SQL connection. We already have, copy paste, and dal is equal to new dal, and response is equal to dal dot user approval. First parameter is registration class, second parameter is SQL connection. Save. So our approval API is also ready. Go to the requirements, SQLite post, upload image, all users can view news feed. Okay, now we need to create a API to insert news and to get all news. So in the DAL, so public response news, and here we will use news class, and SQL connection response is equal to new response, return response. So first we'll create to insert a news. So SQL command cmd is equal to new SQL command, connection object. So now we need to write the command. So insert into news, so in the news we have title, content, email, is active, created on. Values, so news dot title, let's copy this, and content, email, is active. For is active, make it one always, and created on the current date. For that we have a command get date, that's a inbuilt function of SQL Server. So that will take the current date time and save it in the table. So our command is ready. Connection dot open int I is equal to cmd dot execute non query, connection dot close, if I greater than 0, then response dot status code is equal to 200, and response dot status message is equal to news created. Copy, else news creation failed, save, return response. Similarly, let's create one more method for that will return all news. So that will only take SQL connection and response response is equal to new response, return response. So SQL data adapter, new data adapter, comma connection object, and here we will write this command. So select star from news where is active equal 1. So all active news will be published on the front end. Data table dt is equal to new data table, and da dot fill dt. Save. If dt dot rows dot count greater than 0, else. If there are records in this data table, then we will fill a list of news is equal to new list object, and here let's create object of news table. News is equal to new news, and news dot id is equal to convert dot to int 32, dt dot rows. Okay, before that we need to create a for loop. So int I is equal 0, I less than dt dot rows dot count I plus plus. So let's cut this and paste inside this for loop. So here we will pass the index as I and id. Again, news dot title is equal to convert dot to string dt dot rows I and title, copy, paste. So after title we have, sorry, for news we have content. Okay, content, and e sorry email create is active, created on. Okay, go to first we need to change the conversion, it is active is, and let's go to news and let's take one more property for created on. So we will also display the date whenever the news is created. So save. After that, lst news dot add this news, and after this for loop, if lst news dot count greater than 0, then response dot list news is equal to lst news. Save, and response dot status code is equal to 200. Response dot status message is equal to news data found, else 100, no news data found, and null. Save, same thing, copy from here and paste it here. Save. So our news list method is ready. Now go to registration controller, and for that let's create a new controller called news. So on the controllers folder, add controller API empty news. So go to this controller and copy this configuration class, paste also the namespaces, and change this to this controller, the constructor. All right, so first we will create a API for to add news. All right, so go to here and let's copy this registration, paste, change this route to add news, copy, paste. So this will take news as parameter, and we will pass news. Let's make it add news, copy, paste. So we are done. Similarly, let's copy this, paste news list. So change new list, and this method will be a HTTP get. Save. So our add news API, which is post, and news list API, which is get, both are ready. Save. Sorry, here we need to change the get, sorry, news list. For news list, we don't need any news parameter. Save. So we are done with our news also. Go back to the requirements. So we also need to create article. All right. So in this dal, save. First, let's copy this. Sorry, because we will use a same kind of code article, add article. So for this, we will save data in this article table. So title, content, email, image, title, content, email, and one more column is image. So copy, paste, and is active, is approved. Okay, so copy this, paste, and this will take article class, article. So article dot title, article dot content, article dot email, and we also need article dot image, and is active, is approved. So is active one, also make is active as 0. Save. This is integer, we don't need to pass in single quote. Save. All right. So in the add article, so we are done with the command. So here, instead of news, article, save, and now copy this news list and paste. So this will be article list. Save. So now in the article list, we will have two scenarios. One scenario, let's say I am a user, I created one article. So when I go to my articles page, then I could be able to see the articles whatever I have created. Another scenario is we will have a separate article page where we will see all the articles irrespective of any user. All right. So for that purpose, article list, we will use article. So go to article class and let's create one more property, type. Save. So go to dal. So here we will check if article dot type is equal to, we will pass this type from the front end. So let's say user, then we will change the command or if article type is page, it means this is for the article page, so we will pass this page. So let's copy this, paste it here, cut. So initially data adapter is null and pass. So if the type is user, then it means some particular user is trying to get the article list. All right, so copy the article name, copy, and here from article where email is equal to article dot email. So we will pass a logged in user email. So it will only return his or her articles. All right. Otherwise, if the request is coming from the article page, then we will return all the articles. All right. So save. So here we need to change type. Let me also check from news. Yeah, news is okay. So here we also need to change this article. Okay, give it a name art, copy, paste. So article ID, title, content, email is active. And what is the next field? Title, content, image. Image. Okay. So list article dot art. And if list article dot count greater than 0, then response dot list article is equal to lst article. Else article data found, no article data, and in the else part list article is equal to null. Perfect. Save. So we are done with our article list and also the add article part. All right. Let me recheck article. Perfect. Save. So we are done with our del class methods. Now go to, let me close these classes. Go to the controller, right click, add new controller, API, API empty, and we'll create a new controller as article. Save. Go to news controller, copy this, paste, change the constructor, copy the namespaces, replace, and similarly, first we will create a new method for to insert uh, article. So that will be http post and route add article public response add article, that will take article class. And now response is equal to new response, return response. So now first of all SQL connection is equal to new connection, I configuration dot get connection string, name of connection string, that is social network con dot to string. So our connection is ready. Now create object of del class. Del is equal to new del, and response is equal to del dot add article, and pass article object and SQL connection object. Save. Let's create article list API. So that will be again HTTP post, because we will pass some parameters from the front end. So for that, route will be article list public response article list. Let's copy this object. So response is equal to new response, and SQL connection is connection equal new SQL connection, I configuration dot get connection string, sncon dot toString, and del is equal to new del, response is equal to del dot article list article, and return response. Save. So we are done with the API of add article and article list. Perfect. Go back to the requirements. So user registration, login, add article, and okay, user can view feed, that is also done. Rejected. Okay. So now we need to create an API for these articles. Yeah. To approve or disapprove. Okay. Save here. So let's copy this method, paste, and change it to article approval. So here we will pass article class, and let's copy the article name and update article is approved, where id is equal to article dot id. That id we will pass from the React project. Done. And in the response, article approved or article approval failed. Save. So article approval is done. Okay. Now go to registration, and let's copy this user approval. Go to article approval and paste it here. Instead of user approval, change the name as article approval. So that is our article approval API. So response and article approval, that will take class as article. So copy this, copy, paste. So our article approval API is also done. Save, go back to the requirements. So registration approve and also the post approval. Okay, admin authority. Okay, can delete faculty. Okay, staff can view. Okay, staff and faculty are same. Send by. Okay, we will not cover this because this will be done for SMS. Okay, without SMS we will try to done this. So admin can create faculties. So, okay, so let's go in the registration. So do we have any table for faculty? We don't have any table. Okay, so as of now staff can post. Okay, let's have a table for faculty. Paste, call it as okay staff. So ID, name, email, password, phone is active. We don't need this is approved because admin is creating it. So name, email and password. Okay, phone number is also not required for this. So create. So our staff is created. Go to Visual Studio. In the models, right click, add new class, staff, and let's copy some properties from here. Paste. So we have ID, name, email, ID, name, email. No need for content. Also, no need for image. Password is approved. Password string is active. No need for type. ID, name, email, password is active. Okay. Save. Go to DAL. Copy this registration method. Paste. So name it staff registration. So now we need to insert data in the staff table. So name, email, password, name, email, password. Remove this also is approved. Change the class as staff. Staff.name, staff.email, staff.password. Done. Save. So copy, paste, staff registration successful, staff registration failed. In the registration, let's copy this, paste, and copy this name, staff registration, change it. And here we will need this staff table, sorry, staff class. So change it and pass this as a parameter. So done. So we are also done with staff registration. Let's go to the requirement. Now admin login authority can delete faculty. So okay, now admin can also delete the faculty. So let's create a method to delete the faculty. So let's copy this, paste, delete staff. So delete from staff where id is equal to staff dot id, and that id we will pass from the front end, and is active is equal to 1. We have is active. All right. So save staff deleted successfully. Staff deletion failed. So save, go to the registration, copy the same API, paste, change the name as delete staff, and here also change the method as delete staff. Perfect. So our delete API is also ready. Save, go back to requirements. Staff can view user profile, okay, and can post event. Okay, now we need to create API for event. So let's create, before creating API, go to DAL. So add article and article list. So we need these two same methods. We need to change some properties. So that will be for add event, and instead of article, let's pass the event class and copy name as events, insert into events, title content email, title content email is active created on, is active created on, copy paste. All right. So event dot title, event dot content, event dot email, and is active is 1, and for date pass get date method. So save. For success, event created. For fail, event creation failed. And now create a event list method. So that will, for that we don't need any article, and we will create a get API for this. So let's delete this. We don't need any condition for this. So select star from events where is active 1. All right. And we need to change the class as events, save, event, okay, event, event, that's the object. Okay, that's an inbuilt keyword, so we cannot use it. So change till here. So ID, title, content, email is active, and created on. Okay, go to event. Oh, we don't have this. Let's copy from news, paste, and created on, copy and paste. List event dot add event, and if list event dot count greater than 0, And here instead of list article, pass list events, and here list event, paste events data found, no event data found, save, paste, and list event, save. So our event list is ready. Article list, article, paste, same. Let's check for news. Okay, done. So our del methods are ready. So save. Now let's save this class also. Go back to which function is this? Events. Okay. So let's create a new controller. Add controller API empty EVEN events. Add. Go to news controller. Copy this. Paste. Change the constructor. And copy the namespaces, paste, and here let's copy both these APIs and paste it here. Let's change some properties. So add event, event list, save. Add event, event list, save. Add event list. So here add event, and here event list, save. We need to change the parameter as events, save. Done. Now go back to requirements. So far we have created a user registration and login API. Also, we have created a approval API for admin. Login, once user logged in, yeah. We have created a add article, also get articles with image, feed post individual user, correct, and will be approved reject by admin. Yeah, approval, also the same approval for the post. Admin can create faculty, yeah, add delete faculty, and staff can view profile, perfect, and post event. Yeah, so far we have done with our database part as well as our API part. Now if you have a look on the solution explorer, so in the controllers, we have created four new controllers, one for article, one for events, one for news, and one for registration. And in the models folder, if you see, we have article class, we have events class, news, registration, response, staff, and also we have a DAL. This DAL class will communicate with the database part. All right. So we are done with our API. Let's try to build the project. So Control Shift B. Let's see if there is any error. So build started. So build succeeded. Perfect. So there is no error in our web API. Perfect. Now let's go to our React.js project. So now we will try to create our components in this folder. All right. As we are done with our web API part, so let's go to Visual Studio, and now we'll start working on the front end part. So far I have created a new React.js application. So in the source folder, let's create a new folder and name it components, and let's create our first component, which is for registration, registration.js, and let's create a React object and function registration and export default registration, return dev, save. Now for registration and login, let me show you one website. So this is the link. I'll also mention this link in the video description. So mdbootstrap.com. So on this website, you will get a lot of registration and login templates. So you don't need to work and write your own code. So let's say if you want to use this template, so click here, show code, and copy this HTML and paste in your project. So there are a lot of templates. Whatever you want, you can simply use it. So I'm using this one. All right, so let's save this and go to app.js. So remove this header part and import registration component, save. Perfect. Go to browser. So our template is ready. In the table we have ID, name, email, password, phone. Okay, we don't need this username, so let's go to registration and let's remove this username, this entire div, save. Perfect. Now we need to create some states, so let's use state and const name, set name, use state, copy this. Second one is for email, set email, password, and last one is for phone number. Phone number, phone number. Okay, so save. Now let's copy this set name first. Go to the name field. So here we need to give a event on change, and on the event change event set name e dot target dot value. So copy this and paste it for email and change this to set email. Perfect. Similarly for password, so set password, and for phone number, so set phone number, save. And for this button we need to create a on click event, so on click pass event, and we'll create a handler as handle save. So copy this, let's create a click handler, so handle save and e dot prevent default. And let's try to console all these values first. So console dot log name, email, password, phone number, save. Go to browser, let's try to give any name, password 12345, phone number anything, and submit. Open developer tools. So we have name, Manoj, email, password, and phone number. Perfect. So we are able to get the values. Perfect. Now go back to Visual Studio Code. Now we need to use a Post API. So for that I already installed a package which is Axios. If you see here, I have installed this package. So let's import Axios first. So import Axios from Axios, and here first we need to create a data. So const data is equal to, so name, name, go to web API, and on further registration, if we go to this class, go to definition. So we need to create these properties. So name as name, email, email, password, password, phone number, phone number. So save, our data is ready. Small phone number, this state variable, phone actually. Now Axios dot post. So first parameter will take the URL. So we'll create the URL, and next one it will take the data. So pass data dot then result const dt equal result dot data, and finally for catch console dot log error. So save, go to web API project, try to run this project. So we'll get the API endpoint. So let's copy this URL, so because this is our base URL. Const URL equal, and after that we need the controller name, which is registration. So after this API slash registration, and then the method name. So in our case we will use our routes. So our URL is ready. So copy this URL and use it here. So let's save and try to put a breakpoint over here and go to React.js project. Phone number is not defined. Okay. So line number 13. Oh, we don't need this. Remove. Save. So let's try to give any data. Let's say I'm giving my details. virat@gmail.com, password 12345, phone number 45454545, submit. So we are successfully landed on our web API project. If I hover this registration, so you see email is Virat, name, password, phone number. Perfect. So let's try to go ahead. So if you see the response, registration successful. Perfect. So let me continue this. We'll manage the message. First of all, let's go to Visual SQL Server, and try to execute this command, select star from registration. Perfect. So our first registration is successful. Okay, so here let me remove the breakpoint and let's open developer tools, and let me change the user as Virat11 and Virat. Okay, and go to network, submit. So in the response, so we are getting the status code 200 status message. All right, so we will use our this object. So go to React.js and here alert. First of all, if dt dot status code equal 200, then alert dt dot status message, else, or let's alert this message without any condition. So go back to browser again, let's try to submit. Registration successful. Go to SQL Server, again try to run the same command. Perfect. So as of now, there is no duplicate validation, so we'll apply it, but our registration is working. Perfect. After this, we also need to clear these fields. So go to VS Code and let's create one method as clear, set name blank, set email blank, set phone number blank string, and set password blank string, and we'll call this here. So clear email, sorry, this is for name, email, and password, phone number. Save, submit. Okay, so you see all the fields has been resetted, and if I go to SQL, so we will get some registration details. Perfect. So registration is working. Now let's also put one button here to go to login. So go to VS Code and copy this, paste, login, save, and here and then login, const and then login, window dot location dot URL is equal to login. Now we need to install one more package, which is React Router DOM. So let's close the terminal. Now npm I React Router DOM. So now we need to create some routes. So in the app.js, we'll create some routes so that by following a URL, we'll go to our respective components. So package has been installed. So here, let's remove this logo. So import from React router DOM. So the first thing is browser router as router, routes and route. So here, first router, and inside this we will use routes, and inside routes we'll create a route. So route path this, and element is this registration. Same. Let's also create one more route for login, and let's create one more file, new file, login.js. So import React from React, function login, return div, export default login. So similarly, as I shown you here, same thing we have for login. If you check this URL, so we have pre-developed so many login templates. So whatever template you want, you can simply click on this show code and copy paste. I already have one, so let's paste it here inside this div, paste, and now run this application. So npm start. So our application is running. So this is the default route, and if I give this URL, sorry, login, okay, I need to change this route. We need to import our login components. So copy and paste it here, save. Now you see our login component is ready. Perfect. So now we'll try to implement the login functionality over here. So go to VS Code in the login. First we need to create some states. So const email, set email, use state. Let's copy and paste password, set password, save, copy for email on change, set email e dot target dot value, copy this on change event and paste for password and set password, save, and on sign in button let's create on click handle login. E- let's copy this event name and create it. So const handle login e dot prevent default. So const data, and for data go to web API. For registration, if I go to this registration class, so first property is email, so email, and we also need password, so password. Save. Let's import Axios from Axios, and here Axios dot post. Let's create a URL. Let me copy the URL from here and change the method as login. So change this login. So the first parameter is URL, second is data dot then result const dt is equal to result dot data, and alert dt dot this status message, and for error console dot log error. Save. Perfect. Now go to browser and refresh this. So let's use this email and also this password. Click on sign in. So login successful. If I change password as anything, sign in, login failed. Perfect. So you can see our login is also working. Let's try with this email. Login failed because password is incorrect. Let's copy the correct password. Sign in. Login successful. Perfect. So our registration and login both APIs are working. So let's go to VS Code again. Now we need to create dashboard. One is for this user, one is for admin. And in the components folder, first of all, let's create a file for routes. So I'm giving name as router page.js. So here we will create our all routes. So first statement is import React from React and export default function router page. So here we will create our routes. So return. Now let's import browser router and other important properties from React router DOM. So React router DOM and browser router as router switch route. So here router switch, and now we'll create a route. So route path, this is for default route, and for this we'll use our login component. So let's copy and paste, and this is for registration. Let's copy and change the path as registration. Save. Let's import these components. So import login from login and import registration from registration. So save. In the app.js, let's remove this login from here and use router page and delete this login. So import router page from components and router page. So save. Now if you see, this is for login, and if I add registration here, okay, we need to give a keyword exact. So if I refresh this, so now we'll go to our registration form. Perfect. So now our routes are working. Now here let's create some header files and dashboards for each role. So first of all, let's create a user header.js. So inside this, we'll create a navbar where we'll place our links like add article, add news. All right. So for that, if you search bootstrap navbar templates, so you'll go to this website, and here similar to our login and registration templates, so we'll get a lot of navbar templates. So you can copy whatever template you like. All right, I have already created one, so let me use that. So this is user header code. This is pretty straightforward. So we are having a single state for username, and we on the use state means on component load, we are setting our username as whatever we are getting by this key username. If you go to login, so if we are getting a login as successful, if user is valid, then we are setting the username on this local storage. Similarly, we are getting it here from get item. So by get item, we need to pass a key. In our case, we are using this key username. All right, and this username we are using here, welcome username. All right, so this is our user header. Let's create a new file for user dashboard.js, and here we'll use that user header page. So import React from React and export default function user dashboard return, and here we'll use user header. So save. Similarly, let's also create header and dashboard for admin. So admin header.js and admin dashboard.js. So let's go to user dashboard and copy. In the admin dashboard, we'll use the same thing. Need to change the file name only. So from admin header, and this will be admin dashboard, and let's use this admin header. Save. Now go to admin header. So this is the code for admin header, and this is the same as user header. Now let's save and try to create some routes. So let's go to router page. We need to create routes for these pages. So here user dashboard, and here let's use the component user dashboard, and here admin dashboard, and change it to admin dashboard. And if you go to admin header, we have created some links. So again, go to router page.js, so user dashboard and admin dashboard. Save. If you go here login, so we are sending to this admin dashboard if it is admin, and else it is user. So save, go to Chrome, and let's try to execute this command. So far we are having two users, one is admin, one is for user. So let's try to log in with user, sign in. So you see we are having two links here, add article, news. These links will not work because we don't have any corresponding component for this. Do you see, welcome Manoj Deshwal, this is coming from our local storage. All right, so this is user dashboard, log out, and now let's try to log in with admin. So in admin, perfect, welcome admin. So we have four links. Sorry, this link will not work as we don't have any component. So this is for registration, article, news, and stuff. Okay, so let's try to work for this registration list. So we'll create a component which will show all these user details on a list. All right, so go to VS Code, and let's try to create a new route first. So let's copy, and from admin header, let's copy this name, registration list, and also paste the route. We'll create the same component as registration link. So component, right click, registration list.js. Okay, I already created this code, so let me copy paste it here. So this is our registration list. So we are using a variable called data. So if you see this API, let me go to web API project, and in the registration controller, so this API will return all the registration list. And if I go further in the DAL file, so here we need to pass a user type. So on this admin part, on this as registration list, we only need to display the users data. All right, so if you see the payload, so we are passing user type as user, and this is a post call. So once this API hit will get success, then it will return the list of registration. So let's save this, and registration list is not defined. Okay, we need to import it on router.page. So let's import registration list. So let's save. Now go to browser. You see, on this link we are getting a single user. If you see the registration table, we are having two users, but user type user is only one. This is admin, so we are filtering it at the web API end. So we'll only display users data. All right, now we need to display the article management, the article list. So if I try to get article data, so select star from article, select star from article. So as of now we are having two articles. All right, so we'll create article list over here. As of now there is no component, so nothing is getting displayed on this page. So go to VS Code. So we need to create a component, right click here, and article list.js. So this is my article list data. So similar to registration list, here we have a variable data, and here we are getting the article list from the API. So once we get the data, we are setting this variable, and from this variable we are populating our table using map method. Okay, so this is very simple. Now go to router page, and let's create a new route for article list and change the component as article list. Save, go to browser. You see we are having two articles and both are already approved. If you see the is approved property, so both are is approved. All right. See, I am only showing you because I have already done this code, but if you still need any problem, any confusion regarding this project, so you can comment me in the comment box, or you can connect with me on my Instagram, so I'll help you with this project. All right. So this is very simple. The same thing I have done many times in my previous videos. So if you see this table, this is a simple map method, nothing else. And this is a very simple and straightforward use effect, and this is the simple post API. Okay, so this is our article list, and now if I go to this news management, so for this news management we will use two APIs, one to insert data, another one is to get data. All right, so let's go to VS Code again, and now we need to create a new component. So let's create a new file, news.js, paste, save. So now if you see on this page, let's create a route first, and then we'll see on the browser news, save, go to browser. So you see we have two fields, one for a title, one for content. Now go to VS Code. In the news component, if you see from the beginning, we are having two states, one for title, one for content, and this is for to retrieving the list from web API. So again, this is simple use effect. On page load, we are hitting this API and we are getting data and setting in this variable. Same as registration list and article list. And if you see handle save, this is when you click on this save, so whatever text you will put for title and content, that will go with this API and will store in the database. All right, this is again very simple. Both are post calls. If you see here, sorry, this one is get to get the news list, and this is for post. So here we are passing three properties: title, content, and email. This email will be useful when you will try to filter data which user has created the news. All right, same. Now come to the HTML part. So this add news, this is the HTML form. If you see here, this is the heading, and this input is for title, this input is for content, and this is a save button. So very simple HTML code. And on this click event handler, we are calling handle save, which will responsible to hit a post API and save data in the database. All right, and below that we are having the same table as we have in article list and registration list, and based on our data we are mapping our properties and displaying on the browser. So very simple. So this is about news. Now for the staff, again for staff we will create a staff member from admin panel and will show a list. All right, so let's create a new component for staff. So right click, new file, staff.js. So this is our staff code. This is very much similar with the news. Same thing, in the news we are sending two properties, title and content, to the database through web API. Here we are sending three properties. So that is almost same as news. If you see here, in this form we have three fields: name, email, and password. And below that we are having two buttons: one is for save, one is for reset. And below that form we are having a table to display the data. All right, let's save everything and go to router page. Let's create a new route for this. So from here let's create a route staff and change the component as staff. Save, go to Google Chrome. So you see, on the staff we are having some form. So let's try to add a staff here. So staff added, click on OK. So we have a new staff over here. And if I go to SQL and if I go to SQL and select staff from registration, so we'll have a new user with staff. All right, so our staff is working. So from admin end we are done. So let's try to log out and create a new registration, and let's say Dinesh Karthik, and Dinesh at gmail.com. 12345 123456789 submit form. So registration successful. If I see here, so we have a new user, but that is approved is 0. If I try to log in with this user, so it will say your approval is pending. So let's try to log in. So you see, registration is pending for approval. Okay, so let's open another browser. So we'll see both the roles parallelly. So here let's open the same URL as localhost 3000. So let's try to log in with admin. And if I go to registration management, so you see Dinesh Karthik. And for this Dinesh, we are having that button enabled as mark approved. Let me click on. So it says approved. If I click on OK, see already approved. Now go back to SQL and refresh this. As of now, it is approved 0. So if we select the data again, so is approved 1. Now if I again go back to Google Chrome and if I try to log in with the same credentials, so now it will allow me to log in. So that login approval functionality is working as expected. Now in for the user, we'll create add article and news add form. All right, so for add article, so we'll create a new component. So go to VS Code and here we'll create a component. So right click on component and create a component with the name user article.js and close other tabs. So this is my article page code. Same, we are having a state data to return all the articles. These are form states, title, content, file name, and this is to upload a file. This is to get the list. That is same to same as registration list and article list and staff list for admin. Nothing is changed except this API endpoint. So this is for upload image, and once we get the image, then it will again hit the add article API to store the article. All right. So let's open the router page and create a new route for this. So let's save and give it a name, user article, and here user article. Save. Let's go to user header and see what is the link name here. Okay, user article. Let's copy and paste it here, small a. So save. Go back to Chrome. So you see, for add article, we are having a form and we are having a table. So let's try to add any article. So test article, and let's choose an image. Okay, go to pictures. Okay, desktop. Okay, let's choose this image and test title details. Save. Article details save. Click on OK. So you see, we have a single article here created by Dinesh, not approved. All right. Now let's go to SQL Server and execute this command. Select star from article. So we are having article from Dinesh. So I'm logged in as Dinesh. So I'm only able to see my articles. So if you see these two articles, these are created by this user. So we also have a user email ID based kind of filter. Now we need to get it approved. So go to admin panel and click on article management. So you see total we are having 3 articles, but 2 are already approved. So we see already approved, and this is the recent article which we just created. So let's click on mark approve. So it is approved. Now again go back to your profile, and if you refresh it, so you see approved. Perfect. All right. Now for news, for news the code is same to same as admin. So all users can view news feed posted by individual users. So for news, we don't need any kind of approval. All right. So go to VS Code and create a new component and give a name mynews.js. Save. So this is the same code as admin news. All right. So let's save. Go to Google Chrome and refresh. We need to create a route, otherwise we'll not able to see any content. So go to router page and let's copy this route, paste, and here we need to change the component as my news and go to user header and copy the path and give it same path. Save. Go to Google Chrome. So now we see user can add a news, also he or she can view news. The same part, if I go to admin panel, so let me create a new news. Let's say cricket news. Paste. So you see we have a new news here, and if I again go back to your user panel and if I refresh, so you see, so news are independent. If I create a news from here, so user news, save. So you see user news, and if I go back to admin again and refresh this, so I'll get the user news also. So these are independent entity. So anybody can see the user news. So that's it about this project. So from this project, what we have learned? We have learned how to create a web API. If you see here, we are having so many things in the API project, and this is a .NET Core API. And from the React end, we have learned how to create routing, how to create different components, how to use that Axios external API for using our web API in React.js project. Also, how to create post API, how to create get API, and how to use Bootstrap in your React.js application. One part is missing, that is for your kind of homework. So for staff, you need to create a login, and similar to this user, you need to display a registration link over here. So that is for your duty. See the requirements. So staff can view user profile. So you need to create a user dashboard here, sorry, staff dashboard, staff header, and inside that user staff dashboard, you need to create a registration link here, and you need to display all users data, means this data. Everything I have done so far, you just need to think and copy paste the logic. That's it, nothing else. You don't need to write a single word from your own. You will get each and everything for staff module from these pages. All right. So this is about today's this full stack development project, which is called social network. Actually, I got this requirement from one of my student, and I delivered this project. So I thought I should be created a video for you people so that you can see and learn so many things from this project. So this is about this entire video. Again, if you are working on your final year project, or if you are doing any internship and you are facing any kind of difficulty, problem, issues, then you can contact me on my Instagram. Instagram handle is open programmer, and you can also email me. You can find my contact details in my channel description. All right, so I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.